suffering from depression to the point of contemplating suicide. Then she heard God speak to her in the middle of the night. An internal voice said, "Change the ringtone on your phone." The song on Sarah's phone celebrated laziness and passivity. Sarah thought it was funny. She'd always thought of herself as a lazy person. But Sarah knew that the voice in the night was God's. So she did what God said. She replaced her lazy song with a different one. Sarah tells how that one simple action marked a shift in her life. As time went on, she began to experience more of God's love, and her thoughts began to reflect the heart of God. I loved hearing Sarah's story of her God conversation. From it, we can see just how and why Holy Spirit speaks. Let's start with the why. Why does God speak to us? Well, we remember that Jesus sent his Spirit to continue his ministry and mission on earth. Jesus said, "My people hear my voice and they follow." And so the Spirit speaks to call us to follow Jesus. And when we do that, we will begin to experience transformation from the inside out. The Spirit works to form us into the image of God. We will begin to exhibit the traits that Jesus showed, the godlike traits that Jesus showed, but also will become more like who we were born to be. And we'll begin to experience that abundant life that Jesus promised us. That's the goal. But how does that happen? Well, wouldn't it be great if God would just click his fingers? And sometimes that does happen, but more often it's a process. And here again, we remember the words of Jesus about why Holy Spirit speaks. First of all, reminding us of the foundational truths of the gospel, the things that Jesus taught and did while he was on earth. But because Jesus had so much more to say, more than even the disciples could bear at the time, the Spirit was given to then speak about things to come. In other words, the Spirit would take what Jesus established and apply it to our lives, into our context, wherever we are. And we see that in Sarah's life. For Sarah, the principles of Jesus that we speak out of our hearts, that it starts with transformation on the inside and comes out of our words, that looked like for Sarah changing the ringtone on her phone, such that she would begin to hear and understand what God's heart was for her, and she would think the thoughts that God had towards her about who she was. The other thing we notice about Sarah's God conversation is that it seems like such a little thing, isn't it? Just change the ringtone on your phone. But the thing we learn about following Jesus and listening to the Spirit is that we start with the small things. Jesus said, "My people hear my voice and they follow." And even the small things are important because they establish a pattern of following, a pattern of obedience. Jesus also said that those who love me will do what I say. Now, he wasn't saying, "Obey me or I'll hit you with a big stick." No, he was saying those who love me. The call and the motivation is love. In the same way that Jesus submitted his life to us because of love on the cross, he calls us to submit our lives to God out of love. And as we do that, we'll begin to see more of God's love. That's what happened in Sarah's life. That simple act of obedience opened up the door that she could experience more of God's love. What an incredibly beautiful testimony. The other thing that we notice about Sarah's story is that the Holy Spirit speaks different things to everyone. Holy Spirit is a master strategist. God knows just how to bring us into that abundant life, just how to form us into God's image. So Holy Spirit might be saying to Sarah, "Change your ringtone," and he's saying to someone else, "Forgive your father." Holy Spirit is saying different things, but calling us to the same goal, to be made in God's image, to experience Jesus's abundant life. May we also have the grace to listen to Holy Spirit and follow. Thanks for listening to Everyday God Conversations today. Why don't you check us out on godconversations.com for more on having your own God conversation. See you next time.